Hello, it's Oren Prunken, and today I want to talk about where you tell your marketing message. I get this question all the time. So where should you actually tell your marketing message? And really the principle of this is really simple. You need to go to where your customers and prospects currently are. The second part is, and it's usually dependent on where they currently are, is what they currently like doing. Now I'll explain that. So you don't actually need to go out and create any sort of cohort. They already exist. People are already doing things. You know, I mentioned the word cohort as a one-to-many communication, like large-scale marketing, but this still applies for one-on-one communication as well. People are going through their lives, you know, your prospects are doing things day in, day out. For example, like I'm doing that now, there is a whole cohort of people on the roads driving to what they need to do. And if we're looking at offline marketing, there's billboards and so on that's surrounding us that taps into that cohort. You know, you're looking on online, there are so many different ways you can tap into the already existing activities that people are doing on the internet. Likewise, if it's a one-on-one communication, there are people out there in the offline world that are doing things. You know, if you're in a B2B business, there's someone on a computer somewhere conducting their business, or they're in a bricks and mortar store conducting their business. Going out and finding that person is really easy. They are doing things. Finding these people is always predicated on what they are currently doing. And this is really just a market research activity. It's working out who that person is and where they currently are, or who has access to them. Now, the next part that I mentioned was what they currently like doing, and it's predicated on that also. So what they like doing is usually where they currently are. Human beings don't tend to do things that they do not like. So the channel that you are reaching that person through is usually something that they are enjoying. They're getting some sort of benefit out of it. So in terms of trying to find out where these people are and what channel you want to deliver your marketing message, and I've talked about what your marketing message is, and you've obviously got multiple marketing messages if you've been listening to this podcast, and some of the episodes have done that. And also when you tell that, there's multiple times when you tell that, but in terms of the distribution channel, the channel that you're going to deliver that marketing message on when, always exists based on what people are currently doing and what they already like doing. Now we can go further into this. You know, for example, there are only really two ways to get people's attention or awareness or consciousness of your brand, and that is through paid channels and earned channels. You can do it two ways. You can buy your way in, or you can work your way in. That's it. And I know some of you might be thinking, but Oren, what about earned channels? Beg your pardon, what about owned channels? And an owned channel is something that you own. You already control and you already have access to that channel. So it's not something that you already need to go out and buy your way in or earn your way in. You've already done it and you own and control that channel. So it doesn't exist. There are only two ways to get awareness. When someone already knows your brand and they obviously like your brand because they've opted into some sort of communication from you, they are part of your owned channel. So what I want you to do is have a think about what I've said. Find out where your customers are or who has access to those customers, both in a paid or earned capacity. They're the only two ways you can access them. And it's usually based on what some of those prospects and customers' interests are. So when you're doing your market research, you know, there's only really four things you need to concentrate on is, you know, the geographics, where they currently are, their demographics, who they are, the psychographics, the internal dialogue that's happening with them, and then finally those interests, how those psychographics then get translated into a physical action, interests, behaviors, and so on. So I want you to think about those kinds of things. Try this out. See if you can apply finding who those people are and what channels they're at. Let me know if this is useful, because I'd really love to hear from you. And good luck in your journey trying to figure this stuff out.
Thanks for listening. And if you like what was on here and want more, please go to orenprunken.com.